How do you do? My name is Constance Maynard, and I wish to talk to you all tonight about vampires and sunlight. Now, normally when it comes to vampire folklore, the honor goes to my 9 times great-granddaughter, Claire. However, since this involves sunlight, it's a bit of an area where I'm an expert, for you see, from the very moment I rose from the grave, the sun had no effect on me. In fact, I rose from the grave in the daytime. Now, this might be my dark gift, or it might be something my sire can do. Unfortunately, I do not know. You see, I am what Claire would call a hit-and-run turning, for he had to leave to preserve both our lives. It's a long story. But it is true that in European vampire folklore, and in novels such as Carmilla and Dracula, the sun really has no effect on vampires. It does not burn us to a crisp. In the novels, the most it did was make the title vampires a little bit weaker, a little bit more tired, but definitely no turning into ash. The idea that the sun destroys vampires actually entered popular mainstream culture because of the silent film Nosferatu. However, if you pay attention to the cards in the movie, it actually says it's the crow of a rooster that destroys Orlok, not the sun. And in fact, Orlok was not turned into a vampire in the traditional way of having his blood drunk and then drinking the blood of a vampire. He was turned by magic spells, which means he has a completely different set of powers and weaknesses than vampires such as myself. Now, before there were police officers, when people suspected a crime or a vampire attack, they reported it to the church or to their local nobility. And if you have the time and the money and the prestige, you can actually go and find these old reports and read them. And in fact, there's one story from Russia about a vampire who rose from the grave at sunrise and returned at sunset. You see, he was a farmer. And the day after his funeral, he returned to his farm with red glowing eyes, not speaking at all, grave earth all over his body. He only ate when food was put in front of him. Otherwise, he spent the entire day doing all his farm chores and then returned to his grave as soon as the sun started to go down. And he did this for an entire year until his family could care for themselves. After that, he stayed in his grave.